next 71 days, we're going to see some very violent fireworks. I would predict racially motivated mass shootings, bombings, poisonings, attacks on power supplies being blamed on the right wing. They intend to bring in a full dictatorship in the next 71 days. And we are all strapped to this thing. This is such a dangerous time. And I would advise the globalists who are mid-level that think they're about to have a leftist revolution. The globalists don't actually plan at the higher levels to have that. They plan on having a civil war that brings down America, and you'll be the fall guy.
You notice how these things always come back to, and it's you, it's you, it's you, it's gonna happen to you, you. It's pumping this fear. There's Alex Jones, again, talking about how there's gonna be more violence in the streets. Are we hearing that a lot lately? We're hearing it a lot lately, but we're hearing it from certain folks only. Now, I guess it's Alex Jones, but he seems like he's getting ahead of the game now here. Some of those things he said there, he goes, attacks, there can be these attacks on infrastructure and attacks on our supply lines, and those will be blamed on right wingers. The reason he brought up those types of examples is because those things have happened. They've been perpetrated by right wingers. Or they plan to blow up infrastructure things, blow up bridges, and the other part he goes, they want to start a civil war. Who is it online that's talking about civil war all the time? It looks like Alex Jones is trying to get out ahead of things that might get out of control, as we've seen before when they push this kind of rhetoric, because people like Lindsey Graham have said things like this.
And I'll say this. If there's a prosecution of Donald Trump for mishandling classified information after the Clinton debacle, which you presided over and did a hell of a good job, there'll be riots in the streets.
Maybe Alex Jones saw Lindsey Graham say that and saw all the fallout and went, you know what? Once we actually trigger MAGA into the streets from whatever else we need to trigger them based off, we need to have our plan in place. They went with Antifa and BLM after January 6th and said, it was them, it was them, it was them. In this case, they're trying to set your palate ready for it before it even happens so they can have a baked in excuse. Donald Trump is taking notice of the things that they've been saying. He's been on his Truth Social site, truthing or lying. Here's one of the things he put out, because this isn't like a violent rhetoric thing. He says, we have no other choice. We are losing America. And that's in this meme that he has of his face. It's way too close. And it says, believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. No, he's not directly saying, hey, go kill yourself. Don't run up on a Cincinnati FBI office and try to break in and then have a gunfight with the authorities there and end up getting killed. Just sacrifice everything. It's not the same at all. And also, again, he says we have no other choice. There's another one that he retweeted from someone else or retruthed from someone else who has multiple Democratic leaders and says, your enemy is not in Russia. So your enemy is these 6 folks here. What do you do with your enemies in America as a conservative who thinks they're coming for you and we have no other choice, or it's the end of America? Patriotic Americans. What's their next step? But Alex Jones wants to make sure that we're ready to blame someone else because they're the party of personal responsibility, right? What's your thoughts, Jess?
Yeah, I don't want to give Alex Jones too much credit because I think with all of these people, it's not that deep. It doesn't go beyond like, it wasn't me, it was him. Like, I think that's the extent to the cognitive functions of Alex Jones' brains. It's very kids on the playground up there, but listen, we know the far right is responsible for most of the mass shootings in our country. We've read the manifestos. A lot of these are racially motivated. They've explicitly named white replacement theory in these manifestos. And then we have people like Andy Biggs, members of Congress, backing these guys up, saying the constituents in Arizona, in my district, need assault rifles to combat the invasion over our southern border. It's very clear what they're doing and why. We know that the right is perpetrating these attacks. That's super clear. And just because we've got Alex Jones, who talks like there's gravel in his throat, really hard to listen to. And he's fear-mongering you, saying there's going to be a dictatorship in our country. Donald Trump is saying you have to be prepared to sacrifice everything. They're the ones that are going to put us in a situation where there's authoritarian control and material conditions are bad for people. People on the progressive left are not asking you to sacrifice things. If anything, we're saying, The government and economy needs to actually work for you. You aren't paid a living wage. We want to improve your material conditions and make sure you can afford rent, keeping the food on the table, transportation, low gas prices, and you're not working over 40 hours per week just to scrape by. You have the right, saying they're the party of freedom, and Biden's, bringing us into a dictatorship within the next 71 days, or if the midterms don't go their way, we're gonna be in a dictatorship. No, precisely what the right is asking for is that. They're promising that. They're like, you have to sacrifice everything so that we keep our country. Who is the we in that sentence? And we know that it's white Christian nationalists.
I want you guys to again, I want to reiterate that scenario that Jessica pointed out there. The folks that they're mad at, that they want to have a civil war with, that they want to murder, that they want to make sure they have as many guns stocked up as possible, are advocating for you to have some kind of meat in the game in your country, in this greatest country in the world, where it's the richest country in the world. So why are there so many damn poor people that seem like they're living in some country that we call third world countries? Because that's the way it's all set up. We literally will put your life down to make sure your rights are eliminated. That's what the fight is about. One group that says, hey, everybody, let's have something in this, no matter what level you are in society. Another group says, no, you know what? No, I don't make any money and I like it that way. I'm gonna kill you.
No, the economic stake they have in this. I'm glad you brought that up directly. People like Alex Jones have a ton of money. They're doing pretty well. They make a bunch of money off of their media companies. People like Trump, they're doing great. All of these people are exploiting most everyday voters, all of the workers. Labor, like us working for long hours, is what keeps them rich. They have a vested interest in keeping our economic system the way it is. That's what they're afraid of. That's why they're telling you this stuff with no clear details really at all, because the last thing they want is for you to realize, oh, the real problem in this country is the power of the wealthy and the power of corporations. That's why they've commodified all of the things that should be provided as public programs, like healthcare, like good education, like good infrastructure. And so it's really a spin game, and it's important, I think, as you pointed out, to say.
Time to stop spinning. Figure it out, you guys. We'll get there.